bound by darkness, freed by light. The scent of cologne and burned sage lingered in the air, masking something far more sinister. He sat in front of the mirror, shirt unbuttoned, hands tracing symbols onto the glass with a mix of spiced rum and something darker, a binding spell. Another desperate attempt to keep her from slipping away. But it wasn't working anymore. For years, he had owned her, or so he thought. His magic, dark and relentless, had kept her bound to him, chained to a life of lust, control, and endless regret. But lately, something had changed. She was pulling away, waking up. The magic wasn't holding the way it used to. She wasn't falling into his arms as easily, wasn't answering his late-night demands. Her kisses felt empty. Her body still responded to him, but her soul, that was gone. And he knew exactly why. Another man. A man who had no spell, no control, yet had managed to break through the walls he had spent years building. A woman trapped in the web of a warlock. She had once believed he was the answer to her prayers. When they first met, he had come into her life like a storm, charming, protective, dominant. He knew exactly how to say the right things, make her feel safe, and touch her in ways that made her body betray her. But it wasn't love, it was control. What she thought were moments of passion and connection were actually carefully crafted rituals. He would trace symbols on her skin, his lips moving silently as he kissed her throat. He would hold her hand too tight, whispering words that slipped into her subconscious. He would make love to her slowly, locking eyes with her the entire time, his breathing syncing with hers, embedding her with his will. She never understood why she could never leave. Why every time she tried, something pulled her back. Until now. Because now, she saw everything. Breaking free, but at a cost. He sensed the shift before she even said a word. The spells were breaking. He had been watching her for weeks, trying to understand what was happening. At first, he thought she was just tired. Maybe she needed a stronger dose of magic. But then he noticed the way she looked at her phone. The way she smiled at messages he hadn't sent. The way her body tensed when he touched her. The more she distanced herself, the more desperate he became. He started using stronger spells, dirtier tricks. He slipped things into her food, ensuring she stayed weak enough to comply. He manipulated her dreams, planting illusions of her true love, abandoning her, making her believe she had no one else. But it wasn't working. She had started praying. The name of God had entered her life, and with it, the chains were snapping one by one. He hated him, the man who had woken her up. He had done what magic couldn't, showed her real love. So, if magic wouldn't keep her, he had one last plan. If he couldn't have her, no one would. A warlock's final trick, the ultimate betrayal. His fingers gripped her wrists as she tried to pull away. "You belong to me," he whispered, his breath tinged with something sour, something unnatural. "Not anymore." Her voice was steady, stronger than he had ever heard it. She had been playing along long enough, pretending to be under his spell, gathering evidence, preparing for her escape. But now, she was done. She had found a way out. A lawyer, a restraining order, proof of his witchcraft, his manipulations, his crimes. He thought he could keep her bound by threatening her child, her reputation, her future. But God had other plans. And as she stepped back, his face twisted with rage, the room filled with a suffocating heat. He spat curses at her, his voice breaking with rage and panic. "You think you can just leave me? You think he's going to save you? He won't love you like I do. He won't do the things I did." She didn't even blink. "Good." And then she walked away. The last spell shattered, the chains broke, and as she closed the door behind her, the darkness he had summoned came for him instead. The reckoning of the karmic warlock. The days that followed were pure destruction. His good looks began to fade. His once charming demeanor now looked twisted, unhinged, cursed. He couldn't hold a woman's attention anymore. The seductive energy he thrived on was gone. He tried charming others, but they saw through him. He tried casting more spells, but they backfired instantly. He had trapped her through sex magic, yet now, he was the one trapped in a cycle of lust with no satisfaction. No woman would ever truly love him again. They would use him, leave him, forget him. And he knew it. He had spent years stealing her will, keeping her in a fog, feeding off her energy, using her for money, status, and control. Now, he had nothing. The man he had tried to destroy. He won, not through magic, not through tricks, not through manipulation, but through love, faith, and patience. And the woman who had been trapped, she was free. While the warlock burned in the hell he had created for himself.